Well, Bruce Sudano, welcome to Living on Music, my man.
Hi, Steve. Good to be here.
It is
I
great
like I
that
like I like the garden behind you there.
I know that is what I was saying earlier is that there are moments of people's worlds that I try to throw around, and I know that something we'll be talking about is your when Dick Clark on American Bandstand was like, what is your big dream and your musical ambition, and you're like, I want to perform here,
Uh-huh.
and you did, and not only that, but you did a million stuff. You opened for Eric Burden, right, in War.
Back in those days, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
we will talk about this run that you had in your career and growing, beginning in Brooklyn and all that. Tell me a little bit about the latest stuff for Bruce Sudano. I know you had an album, Talking Ugly Truth, Telling Pretty Lies, that came out.
Yeah.
When did that
Yeah.
come out? And then what else? What else is going on currently for now?
What's going on currently for now? Well, I just did some shows on the East Coast, New Hampshire, Massachusetts.
Oh,
That was right before Christmas.
yay!
Got a gig coming up here in LA in a minute. Getting ready to go back to Milan. I live in Milan half the year, so
Oh,
want to go back there. I have some gigs set up in Italy.
cool.
I have a new album coming out in April,
Ooh,
and it's called Sketchbook.
oh, wow.
This is actually the first time I'm talking about it. So it's
Ooh,
it's 10 songs, and it's the combinations of songs have that I've recorded on my previous albums. And
great.
this is the original sketch of what those songs were. So you can go back and listen to how they ended up being produced. And the other half of the albums is new sketches of songs that will be forthcoming in it. But this is my original kind of vision of the songs and how I kind of
Oh.
laid them out with my little bits of production. And this is what I handed to the producers. So
Oh, fantastic. When is that going to be coming out?
comes out in April.
Fantastic. Well, I'll be sharing that it's coming out on Living on Music for sure when it's coming out. You did prior to that, I guess it was Talking Ugly Truth, Telling Pretty Lies.
Talking Ugly
Um,
Truth, Telling Pretty Lies. Yep.
teaming up with Ken Lewis,
Yeah.
t works with Taylor Swift, Drake, Kanye, people
Yeah.
like that. And you had this wonderful album, including a duet with Valerie Simpson.
Yeah.
And
Which was
when did that come out, and how did that feel to you?
I guess that came out a couple of years ago now. It felt
Cool.
great. I mean, it was working with Ken was a great experience. So I basically started this phase of my career back in 2012 when my wife
Okay.
passed away.
Right.
So it was at that point, I started writing. I've always been a songwriter. I've written songs
Right.
in my career, but this phase of being a singer-songwriter and going out all by myself started then. And so working with Ken, and I started really small. It was just really sparse,
Oh,
mostly just very sparse production. But
right.
it was the most produced, the most evolved production of my series of records that I've been doing. And it was a great experience. We were very like-minded. It was interesting to give a producer not free reign, but to be able to really put their vision of how these songs how they pictured them.
Oh, fabulous.
So it was a
Who
good experience.
I bet. Who plays beside you when you do live gigs these days?
Uh, most of the time, it's a guitarist who's also been a producer of some of my records, whose name is Randy Ray Mitchell.
Okay.
Randy's an amazing guitarist, an amazing producer. I've known him since the mid 80s when he started being the guitarist in Donna Summer's band.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds wonderful. Any possible DC area gigs in the next year?
Yeah, there's gonna
Ooh.
be. I don't know what they are yet, but there's a talk going around, and I'm looking for a pocket of time. Might be in June.
Fantastic. There are still a lot of wonderful venues here, and I will keep in touch with you on that note too. I love some of the things that are described about you, Bruce. And very straightforward stuff here and there, and bios and stuff. But talking about you, that you convey your stories of love, heartache, struggle, and spirituality by way of song. How did this come about? We're going to talk about your growing up, but is that continued to be the way you write songs in at this time in your life?
Yeah, and, it's been an interesting. Started writing songs when I was a teenager, so
Yes.
I've been a songwriter my whole life.
Right.
And Um, the things that you mentioned were always the foundational points of
Mm,
my songwriting. It took me a long time to recognize that,
right. Sure.
uh, and to be okay with it, and to be free with it, and to continue to evolve with it.
Sure.
When you're a songwriter and you're starting out, it's like, you have publishers and they want hits, and you're co-writing, and your reasons and purposes are sometimes, and your job necessity is not always in link with where your gifting is.
Right.
And you got to push yourself outside of that, and it's a part of an evolution of an artist, and a development of craft. Uh,
Hmm.
but it took me a long time to get to a place where I was just comfortable with my gifts, what they've evolved to, and to be able to put it forward freely, kind of.
Oh, that's wonderful. I guess over almost the decade career that you've had, you've released 9 solo albums, and probably 10 coming up, the 10th coming up.
Yeah.
And that's very impressive. It was, along with the band, a couple of the bands that we'll talk about that really started excelling with you. And you've been had your songs recorded. Again, this will be mentioned maybe a little later, but songs recorded by Dolly Parton, Reba McEntire, Robert Palmer, who's one of my favorites, and
Mhm.
Michael and Jermaine Jackson. That must feel wonderful to have not only great songs you write for yourself and your bands, but have people like that say, "Yes, I'd like to do that."
Yeah, it was a period of time. This was kind of right around the 80s, I would say, beginning of
Right.
into, 88 maybe, or something like that. It was kind
Sure.
of an 8-year period where uh, these kind of artists kind of, I don't know how I wound up on their records. All different stories, all interesting stories, because there's
Sure.
a lot of serendipity involved in getting a song covered by, a major artist. It's a gift, obviously, to me, and so yeah.
Yeah, you should be damn impressed with that too. I love that because those are fabulous artists who loved your songs, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
We are, of course, going to get to and talk a lot about Donna Summer, one of the greatest performers and musicians that I remember being in my teens. I believe when she started really kicking, and in her career, and look who was with her, that you guys met then, and then you fell, had a family, daughters. We'll talk about that, Donna, coming up in a second. You were born back in 49 and raised in Brooklyn, New York, right?
I was actually born in 48, yeah, born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, a Brooklyn boy through and through. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I love the line that you said, escaping the walls of your home to be with the music outside. Now that's
uh,
that's interesting because I know your dad had oversaw a jukebox route and would return home, with these 445 records, but you really said at age 4, how did the accordion come into your hands?
Italian grandfather went back to visit the old country, came back when it
Oh,
and said, "This is for you." And I was that was like, okay, I guess I'm learning the accordion.
that's so great though. And that was really the first kind of musical
Yeah.
touching for that you
Yeah,
did.
again, in retrospect, it's like a kind of a thing that happens in life that's kind of out of your, it just happened. And but accordion was a very good instrument to have as a foundational instrument for
Oh,
me. Because I learned, songs. I actually I for 4 years was my accordion, you know. So, but I was four. So I thought, but I learned foundational chord progressions. I learned melody. I learned how to play bass because the left hand on the accordion is you're playing bass clef. So it was a really interesting foundational piece of my, career in a
yeah.
sense because it kind of set me up to be a songwriter and to have those elements, you know.
Oh, totally. You later taught yourself to play piano and
Yeah.
guitar. Now, did you teach yourself that?
Yeah, I mean, I play badly. Not like you know, uh, you know, sorry. I've gotten better, I like playing in a band and it's fun to be in a band and find my pocket and groove along and,
Sure.
and also write songs with, So
No,
yeah,
yeah,
along with guitar, yeah.
that's wonderful. Your
Yeah.
first paid gig was around 12 years old, and then at
Yeah,
third.
on the accordion,
Oh,
with a trumpet and a guitarist, somewhere on Flatbush Avenue, playing for either a bar mitzvah or a sweet 16, I don't remember.
oh, that's classic. You remember a song that you guys played together?
Song that we play together. Actually, I don't.
Back there at the
Oh, I do. I
beginning.
do. More. I think it's by Henry Mancini.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
um, uh, da, 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 da. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. See, there
Yeah.
you go. I love that. You
Yeah.
formed your first band at 13. What was the name of that band?
Name of that band, I think, was Silent Souls. There were a bunch of names. It kind of evolved over a period of time until we became Alive and Kicking, and ended up having a hit record with Alive and Kicking. But it was a transition of a period of time of a couple of different guys from the neighborhood all mixing in and out of the band until we landed one thing, and then we ended up with a hit.
Oh, fantastic. Since the mid 60s, playing shows in Manhattan clubs. I mean, my God, that's
Yeah.
so working your way through St. John's University in Queens. All
Sorry.
right. There you go,
Yeah.
right there. I love
Yeah.
that. I'm a lifelong Met fan, so I love the Queens.
Sorry.
Uh,
So we had some great times actually, 69 and 86 I think were our
yes.
that I remember.
At Shea Stadium. I remember going there with my dad as a kid and seeing Seaver almost do the perfect game that one night,
Yeah.
and then '86. But I love that you earned a bachelor's in theater. Now,
Theater. Yep.
why was it theater? Was that something you were going towards musically? Were you going to act as an actor?
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I just was, I guess wanted to be in the biz somehow in showbiz, and so I was a theater major and I was
Oh,
in a few of the school plays and I I I actually took lessons outside of school. I had teachers in Manhattan. I actually had one class with the great Stella Adler, which was she's
oh.
the goddess of acting teachers, and I had one class with her. I don't know why it was one. Maybe she didn't want me. Maybe maybe I think I was intimidated. But
That's great, though. Around that time is when you met Tommy James, and that's of Tommy
yeah.
James and the Shondells, a band I knew of as a kid. And he really sounds like he was a wonderful influence on your songwriting.
Absolutely. He was, epic just in my whole life. In that
Oh,
he took me from playing it in, a band and took me to the recording studio for the first time. I got to write songs with somebody who was, a great pop songwriter, somebody that I'm campaigning should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know.
right.
And so yeah, I got to
Yeah. Um,
co-write with Tommy in the late '60s. Have a co-write a song with him called "Ball of
but
Fire,"
yes,
with his songs.
right.
And then he subsequently wrote and produced my band Alive and Kicking, and in 1970 we have a song called Tighter Tighter, which is a great record to this very day.
Yes, and he did background vocals on it. Pommy James, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
that's wonderful. You did a
yeah.
promotional tour of the U.S. in the early '70s, opening for Chicago. One of
Yeah.
my favorite bands back then. My first concert ever in New Haven, Connecticut, when I was
Uh,
15, was Chicago. I
yeah.
just saw them too last summer, and sounded pretty damn good still. Yeah, they were wonderful. And then Frank Zappa, that had to be a wild band to open for.
Yeah, obviously, either I had a good agent or I had an agent that, but anyway, we opened for Chicago and Mothers of Invention. And yeah, at that point in my life, I really didn't understand what they were doing. As I go back and look at it now, it's like so amazing what they were doing, so unique, and the brilliance of Frank Zappa, it's like, wow.
Yeah,
At the time, yeah, we were there.
that's fantastic. I love that you guys got to do that too. That band ended in around '72, I guess, right? And then
They didn't end, but I left the band in 72.
right, okay. 1977, you and
Yeah.
Joe Bean Esposito. I love that.
Joaquin
Was he related to
Esposito.
Phil? Was he related to Phil Esposito?
No, no.
I, I,
Esposito is a pretty common Italian name.
yes, you're right. It is
In Italy, they say Esposito.
Esposito. And
Yeah.
then Eddie Hawkinson, and you released
Yeah.
Brooklyn Dreams. All right,
Yeah,
to
1976, the three of us, friends from the neighborhood, played in bands together in the neighborhood over the years. Joe and Eddie, great, just great talents. And we wound up in LA, 1976. Another girl from the neighborhood, Susan Mineo, was the director of publicity at Casablanca Records. She said, "You three knuckleheads are out here. You're all pursuing solo careers. Why don't you put something together?" Boom, we form Brooklyn Dreams. We get signed. We put out our first album, which is probably the best album we ever did.
oh.
Um, but yeah, a bunch of songs that I actually wrote back in Brooklyn before I came to LA are on that record, and wrote some songs with Joe and Eddie. It's a really great album.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I, I I I separate myself from it at this point, but anyway, so yeah.
no, that's fantastic. In 1977, I think it was around March 13th, you
Yeah,
met a lady named Donna Summer. Now, any music fan that's probably a little older will know exactly who she is. Probably 40 and above, even 30 and above, 20. She was superstar. But you guys met. How did you meet? And then again, you began dating not long after that, and things went
yeah.
all the way till she passed in 2012. But talk a little bit about your meetup with Donna Summer.
Met Donna on a Sunday afternoon, and it was
Oh,
at the same person that I just mentioned, Susan Mineo.
yes.
Me, Joe, and Eddie were over there visiting. Donna had just returned from Germany,
Oh,
living in Germany for 8 years. She came back, and she had a hit song called "Love to Love You, Baby," and
yes.
so we met at Susan's house and started writing songs, and you know s- she came and sang on the first Brooklyn Dreams album on a song called Old Fashioned Girl.
Right.
We went and sang background on one of her songs, title song of her album, I Remember Yesterday,
Right.
an album which contained I Feel Love.
Right.
And we dated, we toured together. 1979, we did a big tour called the Summer Night Dream Tour.
Oh,
Hi, I'm so happy to be able to welcome you to the American Bandstand.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Right here we have Mr. Bruce Sudano, Mr. Joe Esposito, and Mr. Eddie Hawkinson. All right. Say hi, boys. I don't know if you know that the Brooklyn Dreams are from Brooklyn. And they finished a movie recently called Hot Wax. What was it like to work on a movie, boys?
Well, it was great. It's actually the life story of Alan Freed and how rock and roll began. And it was a lot of fun because we were on the other side growing up as kids.
Well, who did you play in the movie?
We played a group called Professor LaPlano and the Planotones. And we sing Rock and Roll is Here to Stay. and it's a real fun movie. It's great.
It was kind of epic. It was the same year that Joe and Eddie and I had co-written a song with Donna called "Bad Girls," which became the title of that album in 1979. Co-wrote a few other songs on that album.
Heaven knows not the way it could be, and don't you know there's no need to leave. Heaven knows I only wanna love you, and heaven knows I never wanna lose you, and don't you know love is meant to be.
And in 1980, we got married.
Yes.
Brooklyn Dreams broke up. I did my first solo album
Yeah, you
called Fugitive Kind. I'm giving you the rundown.
Yeah, I like it.
And same year, 1980, Fugitive Kind. Donna and I get married. 1981, our first daughter, Brooklyn, was born.
Yes.
At the same time, Donna had a daughter, Mimi, from a previous marriage when she was in Germany. So from the time I met Mimi till this very day, she is one of my daughters, and the three girls, Mimi, Brooklyn, and Amanda,
And Amanda, right.
were born Brooklyn and Amanda, and
Well, that Bruce,
to this day.
yeah, Donna was an amazing musician, amazing performer, but what was it that drew you to her outside of the music?
Donna was just a magic person.
Oh.
She was just one of a kind, exceptional in every aspect of who she was as a human being, her caring, her kindness, her talent, her heart, her generosity. I mean, she was so next level. For me as a boy coming from, an Italian American family in Brooklyn, to team up with Donna. It was, she was just magnificent. Great singer, obviously. All the obvious things were obvious. Great songwriter, great singer, but the human being was, above even those gifts and talents that she had, where, she's, in my opinion, one of the greatest voices of all time,
Yeah, she was mind-blowing to
you
all.
know,
Yeah.
and, she was she was an artist on every level.
Right, right. You co-wrote what, 4 songs on "She Works Hard for the Money" record with
Yeah.
her.
Yep.
I mean, really, that's amazing stuff. That's when people were recording some of your music here and there with Dolly Parton and things like that in the '80s, as we talked about a little earlier. You co-wrote in the mid '80s. I think it was called "Closest Thing to Perfect," which was
Closest
the
thing to
John
perfect.
Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis film.
So yeah,
Perfect.
so this is the great story. So at this period of time, I'm working with Michael Omartian, who's a great producer, songwriter, amazing musician. He's producing Jermaine. I already worked with them on a couple of other songs for Jermaine's record, and then we get this call. You have an opportunity to write the song for the title track of this movie with Jamie Lee Curtis, who is at the top of her career. John Travolta, you got the
Yeah.
we go in, we write this song. And then, the movie comes out and boom, it's flops like you can't, you know,
God.
I mean, but so, it was kind of a funny thing, at the
Oh.
moment it's a little disappointing, I guess, but ultimately I go back, you go back and you look at the video of Closest Thing to Perfect, and it's, Jamie Lee in her prime working out in the gym and Jermaine singing in the gym. It's really pretty funny.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's fantastic. As the time went by, what were a couple of the things that you love doing more than anything? I know it was working with Donna too, but it's a couple of things that jumped up at you that you did going further on.
Well, on this last record, I got to do a duet with Valerie Simpson. And it's like again, it was just such a gift, and I wrote this song called Two Bleeding Hearts.
Oh,
And I'm listening to the song and I'm like, this might be good as a duet, and yeah, I mentioned it to my manager, Cindy DeSilva, and she's like, well, who would it be? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, well, who do you know? And I mean, I know a lot of people, but just out of, Valerie came to mind,
oh,
and she was like, yeah. And I'm like, but, Valerie's not going to do a song with me. She goes, well, just ask her, you know. So I email Valerie, I send her the song. I said, she said, yeah. And so what a treat, it's a very
totally.
beautiful song. I mean, simple song in that it's just me on acoustic guitar, Valerie on piano, uh,
Right.
a bass, and drums, and our two voices. And I mean, just Valerie's piano playing
Totally.
is amazing, And then of course her song, her voice, and where she sings with me, and what a gift! What a gift,
Totally.
Valerie Simpson, Songwriter Hall of Fame, asked for,
That's fantastic. What an opportunity with that. Uh,
ain't no mountain high enough. I'm every woman, ain't nothing like the real thing.
oh yeah.
Oh,
I love that song.
hey
You know,
Steve, she did a song with me. Oh, how did that happen?
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You lost Donna in 2012, at the very young age of 63 years old, and I remember that when she passed. We were pretty bummed ourselves up, but that had to hurt.
It was the tragedy of my life.
I bet.
You know, as you've been, as I've been describing, I've lived a very blessed and charmed life,
Yes.
and losing Donna was, you know, you can't even describe what it is.
I
But
bet. I bet.
it's like you don't understand God, and you don't understand the road that life has for you, and you have to live it through.
Right.
So I mean, I miss Donna every day. My kids miss her. I have nine grandchildren.
Oh,
Five of who never got to meet her,
right. I
but
bet.
certainly know of her and know about their grandmother. But I we we go on, we
You,
go on, and you say, Lord, this is my road. I will continue to walk it. I see it as opportunity. Donna accomplished so much in her life. She gave so much to the world, continues to give so much to the world through things that she has said that people hear in interviews, and the sound of her voice was anointed. It just lifts you, it heals you,
well, yes.
all of that. So
Well, and Bruce, my God, you were a co-producer of Summer, the Donna Summer musical in like 2018. You
yeah,
took part in, now this had to be amazing, the Love to Love You, Donna Summer documentary, co-directed by your daughter, Brooklyn.
my daughter
I
Brooklyn.
mean,
Yeah.
come on, that is unbelievable. What did that feel like?
Well, I mean, I live my life. My life is kind of split in thirds. It's like my career, my family, and Donna.
Right,
And what do I do, and what can I do to continue to keep her spirit in the zeitgeist, and her music, so it's kind of like I do it in priorities, and the musical was the first thing, and it came out in 2018. It was on Broadway. I remember seeing the billboard go up on the marquee, and just breaking down in tears. I was like, wow, so the musical ran for a while. Um, uh, it was a learning experience. It was great. I made some great relationships there.
I
And
bet.
it was an experience in learning. I mean, I had to work with other people, and I was uncomfortable at times, and angry at times, and unsatisfied at times through that experience. Uh, um, I learned that going forward, I need to fight for a little bit more of my own control. So,
Right.
so I, so my daughter Brooklyn co-directed the documentary with Roger Ross Williams, who won the Academy Award for documentary directing.
Right.
We worked together on this project. They had a similar vision. It was a very harmonious experience, hard work and soul searching on many levels. But Brooklyn rose to the occasion. Roger was great. And I think we put out a very heartfelt and intimate portrait of Donna,
Oh,
Do you love somebody? Does everybody here have somebody to love? No? Well, love me for right now, okay?
The audience would get completely uncontrollable. People would begin to rip their clothes off and throw them on the stage, bras, underwear. I didn't know it was going to be that racy.
I remember when I Feel Love came on at Studio 54, you just stopped in your tracks. You thought, what is this? People screamed, just went on and on and on, and you didn't want it to stop.
I have a secret life. You're looking at me, but what you see is not what I am. Who is she? My approach to singing, I approach it as an actress. I don't approach it as a singer. And it's really acting. I'm not trying to be me. I came out with Georgia with the which just changed the face of music for a while.
She was the first female black artist to ever have a video on MTV.
She was complicated and struggled with her fame.
Donna was trying to navigate being a mother.
And the responsibility of that and the weight of that is immense. There's too much fire in me.
A lot of her life revolved around privacy and secrecy. We would find out things by reading newspaper articles that they had clipped out and hidden in places.
Sing it loud.
She works hard for the money. So hard for it, honey. I work hard for my money, so you better treat me right.
2024, not long ago, only less than 2 years ago,
Yeah.
Donna received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and you were there with your daughters, with Mimi, as well as Brooklyn and Amanda, and accepting that had to be another monumental moment.
Our three daughters, Amanda, Mimi, and Brooklyn. I know you would probably much rather hear from them, but they elected Dad to speak. So, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to the Grammy trustees, the Recording Academy. It's a tremendous honor. You don't think about these things until one day you get a phone call and somebody says you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I had this feeling that I didn't anticipate. It felt like my whole body just filled up with this sense of pure joy. And it's sort of connected to a tear in my eye. And it's just a tremendous thing. So we're very grateful as a family.
And just this year, she got inducted into the Songwriters Hall.
Yes, right.
So also there, and these kind of little other pockets of things that we keep chipping away on, and things that she so rightfully deserved. I have to give a shout out to Donna Cassani from Reservoir Music. She came to, I met her. She came to a couple of my gigs, and I found out that she was on the board of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I was like, can you help me get Donna on? She was like, absolutely. She made one call, a couple of calls. We had a beautiful luncheon a couple of weeks ago. I got to sit next to the great songwriter Hall of Fame, Paul Williams, and have a great conversation. Oh. He's also the head of ASCAP. So, yeah. So, anyway.
Oh, no, that's fantastic stuff to hear, man. I'm so honored to be able to be hearing this from you of all people. I remember one more last year. It was at the Butterfly Room in West Hollywood, and it was in kind of an ceremony held with you and the daughters and kind of honoring a lot of her close friends and family. And you had a statement, and it's important to me because I know how important it was for Donna. The backstory is, with all the accolades that she received over her career, being respected as a songwriter was always the thing that she felt was overlooked. So for her to be accepted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame and everything else, I know that she's very happy somewhere. And, it just sounds like your love and your respect for her just is never going anywhere.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Also to say, I've remarried, you know,
Oh, well,
and
that's wonderful. I don't know if I was aware of that.
yeah, and our sixth anniversary is coming
Oh,
up soon on wait, February 7th. We're all
fantastic. Congratulations on that.
and Francesca, yeah, Francesca Repetto Kaufman. She's an
Oh,
art dealer. She has a gallery in Milan and a gallery in Tribeca,
oh.
and she's been an angel in my life.
Oh, those congratulations on all that. And look, Bruce, I want to keep in touch on this new record coming up. I'm going to start re-listening and listening to both Donna and your music because this has been an incredible ride, and you got to feel good about how it's been for you.
I'm grateful.
I
I am
bet.
grateful. So, yeah. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you taking the time.
My,
Appreciate you spreading the word keep rocking in that band. And,
oh yeah.
maybe when I have a gig somewhere near you are, you'll come see me and I'll come see you.
Oh, well, that'd be pretty unbelievable to have somebody like you come see us. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary as a band on next Saturday, and it is a pretty
Great.
wild ride that I never expected. But look, congratulations, Bruce Sudano. Let's keep in close touch, and thanks again for being on Living on Music.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.